Alright, we need to talk about Remnant 2. Couple months ago I made a video about the upscaling technology. I am not a fan because these things have very little utility when it comes to games, and I only see, well, back then I only saw the negatives. They said that it was up to 3 times faster than the 3090 or 3090 Ti, one of them. Here's the problem. They clearly used DLSS3 to get that number. So would this mean that the future of GPUs is more a testament of the software rather than the hardware? And what would be the problem if that was the case? Some so-called tech experts were heralding it as the best thing since sliced bread when it comes to GPU tech. Oh yes, now all the GPUs their lifespan can be extended. What I saw right away was a method by which companies will use this DLSS or FSR as the baseline, because if your GPU is powerful enough, these upscaling tech are useless. If you can run the game natively at 1440p and get over 100 FPS, there's no need for you to use DLSS or FSR. And it is just so weird that these people who claim to be professionals in this industry, none of them saw this coming. So it first started with Nvidia. They put out the 40 series and they started to use the fake frames and fake resolution in order to add to the performance. And then comes Remnant 2. This was a game that I was somewhat interested in because I liked the first game, but I noticed that the reviews were all positive, very positive. I think only one or two briefly mentioned the performance issues and said, okay, it's not the best, but okay, it can go on. Lo and behold, here's the full story with the performance on PC. If you disable the fake resolution, the performance is wretched, horrible. The performance only rises to tolerable when you use fake resolution. And now look, the game graphics is improved over the first one, but it is not massively improved to the point where a 4090 playing at 4K shouldn't be able to do well over 100 frames without any fancy upscaling. Now, why is it that this type of atrocious performance is being tolerated and condoned, even glossed over when it comes to the reviewers? I don't know.
What misses? For sure the performance. There's definitely enough performance issues that I can see this being one of the major complaints. It is one of those games that, depending on the role of the realm, you may not have as many issues as somebody else does simply because of how it's all put together. My rating for this would be a buy. I highly enjoyed it. It was a blast to play despite any problems.
Remnant 2 is a step up compared to its predecessor in just about every way, and it's clear that Gunfire put effort into listening to fan feedback. Striking world design, immersive character progression and combat, cooperative multiplayer features, an engaging gameplay loop, and good replayability propel Remnant 2 forward, where many games have taken steps backwards. Remnant 2 is a solid sequel that enhances the emerging Souls-like genre, adding to its unique identity and its ideas to its growing pool. A fun and engaging multiplayer experience makes it well worth the price tag, even if you're generally not a fan of shooters.
If our glowing review wasn't an indication, let me spell it out. Remnant 2 is one of the most satisfying games we've played this year. Heck, it's one of the most satisfying games we've played in a seriously long time. The developers pulled out every stop to listen to their community and make a sequel that is bigger and better in every single way. If it hooks you, and I bet it will, you'll be addicted. The moments you're not playing the game, you'll wish you were. And when you close your eyes, the only thing you'll think about is when you can log back in and play again. If I had to knock the game for anything, it would be the lack of crossplay on day one. It's something everyone's been asking about, and the developers, understandably, have been quiet on. The first game eventually had some form of crossplay, but it was never a truly seamless experience across all platforms. Fingers crossed they can figure it out somewhere down the line, because it would be the perfect cherry on top of a nearly perfect game.
Gunfire Games isn't a big studio, so it doesn't make any sense for them to create a their reputation for this studio. So I really don't know. The only thing I can say is maybe these reviewers are just not very good at doing the job, and maybe they aren't forward thinking. Maybe they are slaves to the industry, because they are helping to normalize this nonsense that you need upscaling in order to play a game. And that will become a massive problem in the future when they use upscaling, just like what Nvidia did with DLSS 3.2. Imagine if a game now, rather than just using the fake resolution, say you also need fake frames in order to play the game, and fake frames is locked onto the most recent GPUs, or the latest version of fake frames is locked onto the newest GPUs. That would be horrendous. Now it is sad because so far I don't think any of my dire predictions have been proven false. This goes from the social aspect, when we kept giving the alphabet thing a pass and said, look, one day, they're going to take over everything. And people over here in Jamaica said, nah, what happened? Overreacting. No, look where we are. So be it that, or be it the fake frames and fake resolution of DLSS and FSR. I said, look, one of these days, if you embrace this tech as something good, it will be abused by game developers or game publishers, and you will suffer, because games will now be created or optimized with the fake frames in mind, and say, okay, in order to get 1080p 60, you need to use fake frame and fake resolution. And look, this is the first game that actually has something similar to that. And what is really disheartening is that the tech reviewers did not blast this game on the account of the horrendous performance, because honestly, I could not recommend this to anyone in the current state. And speaking of, I've only been watching some gameplay the first few hours of the game, and it's possible that the game would have been infiltrated in some small way by wokeism, because the first thing I noticed is the first companion is a strong black independent woman who don't need no man, but she has the same mannerism of a feminist strong female character. She is unnecessarily rude and abrasive. And I could argue she's racist, because she kept mentioning Ford's race. Oh, this old white man. I guarantee you that no character will refer to another character as this old black man or this young black man. What And then when the Clementine, whatever the psychic woman name, she just dissed Bo, who is apparently the mayor, so emasculated him, and then she emasculated Ford as well.
This is not up for discussion, Clementine. You're staying, and that's final.
I don't remember asking for your permission.
Watch your tone, young lady.
Excuse me? I'm 132 years old, in case you forgot, and I am not your child. You don't have authority over me.
On this, I do. This town needs you. You can't go wandering off after something that might not even exist.
Oh, that's rich. What have you been doing the last 100 years then, huh? What the hell are you doing right now?
Well, that's different. I'm trying to fix things.
Things that you broke when you tried to play God.
That was Harsgard. I was just following orders. I didn't...
Oh, and that makes it okay? You know how many people died because you just followed orders?
Of course I know. You think I don't remember that every goddamn day? I'm trying to make things right here.
So am I. You're such a damned hypocrite, Ford. If I leave, it's my fault. But you didn't break the world. You didn't run after a pipe dream. You didn't abandon your family 12 times over.
Look, I've made a lot of mistakes. I admit that. But it's because of those mistakes that I'm telling you not to do the same thing.
Well, forgive me if I don't want to take advice from the men who fucked up the world in the first place. I'm not your dreamer anymore. Maybe I've got my own mission.
These people need you, Clementine. You're too important to just...
Every person out there is capable of taking care of themselves. This isn't about them. It's about you. You've always run away from your problems, but you won't let me run toward something. What are you so goddamned afraid of?
Of losing you, losing them, losing everything.
I've already lost everything! You took it from me. You, Neville, Harsgard. The whole goddamned project. I don't belong here. I never did. I'm tired of pretending I do.
Look, you put yourself through a lot today. You're tired. Get some rest, huh? Things will feel better tomorrow.
You know I used to look up to you. The way you seemed strong enough to save the world. Except I've already saved it, haven't I? And what have you done?
I can't let you go near that place, Clementine. That's an order.
You haven't learned a damned thing, Ford. Out of my way.
Whoa.
So far you met four characters, 2 females, 2 males. The 2 females are girl bosses, 2 males have been emasculated by the 2 females. So it could be an omen of things to come, or it could be a one-off, because the game, based on what I've seen so far, it doesn't have that same soul as the first game. You know, it doesn't take as much time to properly build the story and you know, have things make sense, because upon meeting these 2 persons for the first time, the amount of emotional attachment that your character has to Clementine is just weird based on the dialogue in the first mission. That is just weird. There's something about the writing in the first opening, in the opening acts, that is a noticeable step down from the first game. But it could be that it starts off shaky and then things get better later on. But in this day and age, you do have to pay attention to these things. The performance aside, as I mentioned, when it comes to the character interactions and the first 4 characters I've seen, something about that just feels wrong. It just feels wrong. I could be wrong on this one, but we'll see. I suppose I still don't want to watch too much of the gameplay, because if I do decide to bet, I don't want the whole thing spoiled. But regardless, I'm not touching this until I see evidence from actual gamers, because no, you can't trust reviewers. Actual gamers that the PC performance has been fixed. If that performance is not fixed, I'm not touching this.